It's like, how do you go to Tinder? Why are you going to Tinder right away?
Am I offending you?
No, I'm just wondering how we got onto Tinder.
I'm saying that you won't have to go date. You don't have to find somebody. You'll have a virtual reality girlfriend that will give you the full experience, if you will.
Gotcha. Fuck that. I'm gonna have a robot girlfriend. And then when she starts going, blah, 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 I go, boop, boop, turn her off. I'm going to say, hey, my belt is here on the stove for a reason. Leave it there. I will get it tomorrow. And not yell at me.
You try to turn it off is what got you broken up with the last time.
Bob and Nate, true American heroes. Bob and Nate, true American heroes. Bob and Nate.
Welcome to another edition of Uneducated Men. We are your true American heroes, Nate and Bob. Nate, how are you today?
I'm feeling very uneducated today, Bob. Ready to go.
Yeah, it's early. We're filming about 8 in the morning on a Sunday. It's super hot. Nate likes to film in his Fortress of Solitude, and I think it's going to push to 115 today.
And my underwear as well.
Okay.
It's going to be a hot one.
Yeah, I'm in a hat. For those listening, I'm wearing a hat. Don't normally wear one. Melon. Only good thing to come out of California, melon hats.
I was going to say you look a little less bald today. Now I get it.
I generally don't wear them because it takes away from my best feature, my beautiful blue eyes. All right, so this is Uneducated Men, where we give you our uneducated opinions about things we know very little about and did absolutely no research on. Nathaniel, last week we knocked it out of the park. I built an AI agent to review our show, and it tells me where we got things wrong. Sometimes I get partially right, speculation. We came back with a perfect score, nothing wrong. I was so excited to come out here and pump us up.
We didn't get anything wrong, but to some, we did something wrong.
Correct. On Thursday, I got an email from the law offices of Harrison, Wells, and Carter out of New York City.
New York City?
Yeah, that's the salsa. I remember that commercial. El Paso.
Day.
Conte, or was it El Paso? Get the
El
rope.
Paso's a city.
But wasn't the name of the salsa El Paso?
Now, I think what it was, they talked about Picante being from El Paso, and somebody said, where's your salsa from? New York City.
Yeah.
New York City.
Get
Anywho.
the rope. Anyway, yes, I digress. I don't know what that means. I say that shit all the time. I have no clue. Speaking of shit, I don't know what it means. So the notice said, notice to cease and desist. Now, I don't know what desist means. I know what cease means, but I don't know what desist means. So I'm going to read you parts of it. It's a very long email, but I'll give you a few of the highlights. Unauthorized use of WNBA intellectual property, false statements, and defamatory content. Dear host of Uneducated Men, that's you and me, our firm represents certain interests associated with the Women's National Basketball Association League regarding matters involving the league's name, its players, and related public commentary. It has come to our attention during a recent podcast, you repeatedly misidentified player Joanna Bonner. One, I only said it once, and I am dyslexic, so I got that wrong. I thought Boner was right. Were you going to say something?
No, you've always thought boners were right. Go on.
While also fabricating the existence of a fictitious spouse identified as Anita Cox.
And as everyone knows, somebody named Anita Cox would be married to a woman.
Yeah. And I did make that up. I mean, I thought it was funny.
If anything, would be Anita Train.
Yeah, I think it needs something else. Although your statements may have been intended as humor, they have generated unnecessarily confusion. I don't get that. Unnecessary confusion, and have the potential to mislead listeners regarding identifiable individuals associated with WNBA. Is you think anybody got confused on that?
I don't think anybody that listens to our show knows who Joanna Boner is.
It's Bonner. It goes on. Whether intentional or not, the publication of false statements concerning public figures, coupled with repeated misuse of WNBA players' identities, exposes you to potential legal claims, including, but not limited to, false endorsement, reputable harm, and other causes of action under applicable law. Accordingly, you are demanded to, and it gives us some list of demands, and I'm going to go over a couple of the lists, but what do you think so far? Like,
I hear a lot of crying from a Joanna Boner.
Yeah, a bunch of nerds and some... So here's
Ever
a couple
since Sophie Cunningham pointed her out, and she's got she got a little butt hurt.
Yeah.
A little boner hurt.
Yeah. I think she's jealous of Sophia's fingers. So here's some of their list. Here's one. Remove or edit the offending podcast episode from all platforms within 10 business days. Harrison, Wells, and Carter, you can go fuck yourself. We're not doing that. And immediately cease Nothing about desisting. Just cease from making false or fabricated statements concerning WNBA players and their families, and refrain from using the WNBA trademark players' identities in the future that could be reasonably interpreted as factual.
Well, your AI agent did point out that we got nothing wrong last week.
Exactly. I just finished Dave Portnoy's book, and I feel a little empowered. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a great book. I highly recommend it. I will not be intimidated. I am not afraid of these lawyers. I will not back down. WNBA, you have picked a fight with the wrong person. So what we're going to do now, we're going to give you a couple names here that may or may not be real of WNBA players. I'm going to say that right off the bat. Some of these may be fictitious. But I, Nathaniel, am not afraid of these lawyers. Let's go, Bob. All right.
I see what you did
there. You know who Ronnie Lott is? Ronnie Lott.
Of course I do. Great NFL player. Okay.
Correct. His daughter plays in the WNBA. Her name is Mona Lott.
Okay. So am I supposed to guess if that is real or not, or you're just spitting out some potential fictitious names?
Let's do that. Let's see if you can tell me if these are real or not. I got about 7 of them. So James Harden's sister plays in the WNBA. Her name's Dixie Harden.
Okay.
Is that real? Or?
Any reasonable parent would name her kid that, of course.
So Tickle Me Elmo. Obviously, this is a real one. Tickle Me Elmo's wife. I got to get myself together. I've had this one in my head, and I've played this out, and I wasn't laughing. Okay. Tickle Me Elmo's wife plays in the WNBA. Her name is Tess. Tess Tickle Me Elmo.
That one's got you in tears?
Oh, yeah. You just see the picture of Tickle Me Elmo going, ah. All right. There's a lady named, with the last name Talls, first name Jenny Talls. She's hanging in there. Big 80s WNBA player named Sharon Bush. There's a lady with the last name Moorhead. First name's Ivana Moorhead.
How could any law firm sue somebody with this type of intellect?
Yeah,
who spent an entire week coming up with these names?
There's an Ophelia Wood. She's pretty popular. Eileen, there's a basketball player for the Lynx named Eileen Dover. She's got one leg longer than the other, Eileen. Wanda B. Cummings. She sounds like every girlfriend I've ever had. Sorry, Wanda B. Cummings. Not going to happen.
That's why they broke up with you?
There's a basketball coach. This is a guy, actually. His name's Sirius. His last name is Boner. Sirius Boner. So WNBA and what's the name of this stupid law firm again? Harrison, Wells, and Carter, come at me. I'm not afraid of you. I grew up in Minnesota. I am farm strong.
To be fair, none of those names we are pretending to be factual. So there's no lawsuit there.
I don't know. Testicle myoma. I think that's a real...
Is this a good time for my headlocks for tomorrow?
Do you want to go into it right now?
I might as well, since we're on the topic.
Headlocks of the day.
All right, WNBA, since we can't use any words affiliated, we have Atlanta tomorrow at home versus Las Vegas. Atlanta's +1.5. They've been on a hot streak, so I will take Atlanta +1.5, not using any names. And then the New York City team is -9.5 at home versus the Seattle team.
The New York City team versus the Seattle team.
Yep. The New York City team is -9.5. So that'll be my two-team parlay, Atlanta and New York City.
Yep. The New York City team head coach is Sirius Boner. Okay. So let's go back into some of the look-backs. We did have a few look-backs, even though we didn't get anything wrong. It was brought to my attention that you and I talked about a Mount Charleston trip that may have come across as a little, I don't know, gay.
So somebody said that?
So, yeah, it was like, oh, you went up there to spend the night up there and you guys needed some covers. I was like, well, no, I didn't spend the night. Nate brought his kids up there. I went up for the day and I came back down to Las Vegas. So no, we did not spend the night in a tent cuddling underneath the covers.
Why is it that you kept asking to go look inside the tent?
It's just seeing if there's enough room maybe for later on, but it was not.
It was a pretty small tent, but you've always pitched small tents, so.
You or me? You're the one who pitched the tent.
Nobody knows that. Hold on a second. I'm Bob. You're Nate, remember?
Oh, that's correct. I forgot about that. I think you got that tent from Mike Liddell from his My Tent Company.
That's exactly where I bought it. Supporting.
Mike Lindell, come on the show. You had mentioned craft beer had been a fad a couple times now. I was reminded by one of our super fans who came to be your boss at a location and you got all butthurt and left and went to go work for your buddy Abe, that you left him 20 low cool craft beers on draft that it took years for him to burn through. I was told to remind you of that.
There's so much made up nonsense there. Say that again.
You left 20 low cool craft beers on tap for our super fan to find a way to get
Okay, I saw. Well, that was a good marketing scheme at the time. Everything on tap was local, so that was cool.
Okay.
At the time, it ran its course. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when craft beer was at its peak.
Ashley Webb, you would ask, who sold more books? I can't tell. She's or he or she. Let's call her she. She wants to go by she, so that's fine. She's actually had some books sold. She's in the top 100,000 right now on Amazon. There's about 3 million books on Amazon, so she's selling some books, but I can't tell you the number.
That had to have been after she was on stage and said that she writes her own books.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, and listen, if that was a publicity where she's going to make some money off of selling books, that was very smart. I might have to do that to get my book sales going because I didn't break the top 20 in Amazon. I have proof of that if anybody wants to question me, but she also is a songwriter. I looked at her songs. It's all AI. I guess maybe she writes the lyrics, so it makes her a lyricist. I am also a lyricist. I think that's right. I write all of the words for every song that you hear on this podcast, including the hit intro. I wrote all those lyrics.
How long did it take you to come up with those 7 words?
I think it's more Bob and Nate, true American. 6. Nate, true American. Yeah, 6 words. It took me a little while. I had to kind of get them and make sure that they all lined up and played well. But
yeah, that was quite the puzzle you put together there.
Yeah, I am Robert Langdon. That's an intellectual joke, actually.
Here comes another lawsuit. Great.
Listen, Da Vinci Code, Dan Brown's a hero. You talked about Viagra becoming a sponsor of this podcast. I don't know. Maybe I will tell you this. And our demographic now is 70-30 women. It used to be 98-2. We've gained a lot of women. So women that are listening, please hit that little fast forward button by 30 seconds, maybe twice. Man, once. We'll go quick. I'll pause while you can do that. Nate, I wish they made something like a reverse Viagra because my life has been completely ruined by 2 things, liquor and ladies. Most of those go together. But if they could give me something that could eliminate my sex drive, I would be in a much better place. So if they could come up with reverse Viagra, Agava, I don't know, Argava.
I think that's out there. You take hormones like Ashley Webb does.
Yeah, it's something. I mean, because you think about post-nut feeling. So you could replicate that in a pill and take that right before you're supposed to go to dinner with her friends, or you'd be like, no, I'm good. I'm going to stay here and play some video games. See you later.
Take some estrogen.
Is that what it does?
I think so, yeah. You might play video games, but then you'll just complain about it the whole time anyway.
Your life would be so much better if you weren't had the desire to chase women, because when you're chasing women, the things that you do, and you add liquor to it, and here you are making a podcast when you're old and trying to make it big.
You need somebody to talk to after the show. I'm here for you.
I appreciate it. We talked about tipping, and just to follow up on that, there's 2 things. There's a GoFundMe page. One of our ex-colleagues by the name of Heather is going through breast cancer. She has a GoFundMe page. If you want to help donate to that, you can go to the GoFundMe and look up Jack's Giddy, Giddy. It's Jackie, Jacki, Giddy, Giddy, and donate. Even a small donation helps. However, at the end of it, I donated, and there was a $17 charge. And I was like, what is this extra $17 for? And then I went back, and there was a tip. You told me that the tip goes to the platform, but how did they come up with 17% as any type of tip on a donation? Is there something I'm missing there, or is that just standard?
I don't know. I donate to causes on there, and I guess I don't look too much into it, but I was under the impression that helps cover the charge that GoFundMe charges the person that is asking or getting the money.
Oh, well, then why don't they make it a couple percent, or just say that it was just 17% out of the blue? It was like a shock. It was one of those things, again, where you just get mad because it just shows up on the end of the bill. And then Amazon asked me for a tip on my last delivery. I want to put some context to it so people are like, what? My daughter's iPad broke. I wanted to get her iPad immediately because I don't like that she doesn't have an iPad. I can complain about the kids sitting in the house all the time, but all her friends on the iPad, and she was very upset. So I went to Amazon to buy one, and they had deliver within 100 minutes. And I was like, hell yeah, boom. And I hit it. And then you go to the next screen and it says driver tip. And I'm like, I'm not tipping this guy. But then right above that, and this is where it gets very clever, right above that tip, it says orders may be delayed by 24 hours. And at that point, I was like, I don't know if I don't hit this tip button, if they're going to delay my order. And I don't want my order delayed. So it was $15. I accepted it. It said it went to the driver. My package came within the hour. Now Amazon has a tipping feature.
Yeah, that's pretty wild to me. I honestly did think that you were the driver tipping yourself, picking up your order somewhere. It's some mob shit to do, man. You got to grease the guy getting you your stuff.
It's almost like an Uber Eats for Amazon, which I think might be smart. Imagine if you could go to Amazon and pick up your own package and then be paid to drop off packages to your neighbors. Amazon, think about that for a second. Remember, I said it here first, though. You had discussed how forks were considered satanic earlier on. That is true. So people believe that eating with their hands was the way of God. It wasn't until 1950 when a German came along and added a fourth tine to the forks. Usually there was 2 tines and they went to 3 and people thought it looked like a pitchfork, and then they put 4 tines on it. And now that is the fork that you have today, and people thought it was less satanic. Although they didn't use forks, knives and spoons were used. Queen Elizabeth I never used a fork, refused to use one her whole entire life.
Yeah, I did notice you said one thing, though, Bob, that I was right again. Let me ask you, have you ever won a trivia contest before?
I have. I have with a good friend of mine named KJ, who will be coming on the show once her schedule allows.
Second question, have you ever won a trivia contest without me?
Moving right along. I see you trimmed up the beard a little bit, got a little shaven, I guess, a trim.
Nah, not really. I think it's just more gray since last week.
Oh, I was going to say, you look less like a hipster and more like a redneck, but maybe it's just the gray. All right. So, Nathaniel, this show is going to be a little different than some of our previous shows. We're not going to dive into the waters of politics or Trump or Epstein or religion. And I know people tune in for that hard-hitting commentary, but we're going to have some fun, just a lot of fun, and hopefully make some people laugh, all right? First topic. I read this recently. I don't know if I read it or seen it. I didn't come up with it, so maybe I'll find out who said this. In the the late 1800s, everybody had a horse and only rich people had a car. And now only rich people have horses and everybody has a car. So it got me thinking, what are some of the things that we're doing that maybe our ancestors didn't do? And we'll look forward. And what are some of the things that our great grandkids are going to do that they may just look back and be like, wow, my great grandfather was weird. I can't believe he did that. So I'll start off with a few things.
Regarding our great grandkids or whatever, is this before or after the zombie apocalypse, though?
This has to be after.
After the zombie apocalypse.
So maybe they're living in a post-apocalyptic, is that how you say? Post-apocalyptic world?
I don't even know. You already put that word in my head. Now I can't think of the right one.
All right. So toilet paper. We use toilet paper every day, or at least I hope you do. Toilet paper wasn't invented until 1891. Before that, they used newspapers or corn cobs. Yes, that's right. Corn cobs. I know one of our previous guests still uses corn cobs, but I think it's for different reasons, not hygienic.
My relatives that came from Sweden were royalty, so they didn't need any of that. They had a peasant underneath in the bathroom that would spray water up as a man-made bidet.
Oh, that's a really shitty job.
I didn't make that up at all.
No, I believe you. Listen, this show is 100% factual with no fake stuff. Shoelaces. Harvey Kennedy invented the shoelace in 1790. Before that, they had buckles or bootstraps. So that you ever heard the term pick you up by your bootstraps? That was a real thing until the shoelace was invented.
Well, I mean, a lot of fashion icons brought bootstraps back.
They were like big buckles, like the Pilgrims.
Maybe laces aren't what it's cracked up to be.
A nail clipper. A nail clipper wasn't invented until 1947. That means our parents didn't use a nail clipper when they were kids. They used a knife or their teeth.
You're aging yourself there. Whose parents were born before 1947 on this show?
Your parents weren't born before 1947?
No.
No, I'm sorry. Oh, shit. 1974.
Okay, there you go.
Well, come on. What? That's why I'm
dyslexic Bob.
1974. Ah, jeez.
Jeez, that's even after your time.
I wasn't born in 1974. I was, my mom was 16, using her teeth to bite her toenails. Toothpaste. So the first toothpaste was called dental cream. It was developed in 1873. The first toothpaste tube wasn't invented until 1892.
Toothpaste was around 100 years before the nail clipper.
Yeah.
Seems bonkers to me.
Or they used to use powder and put powder in the mouth, or they would use shells. It was all kinds of weird stuff they would do to clean their teeth. I don't think George Washington cleaned his teeth. That's why his became wood.
I think he used Viagra. That's why his teeth became wood.
Yeah, that's not good, actually. I cannot give you props for that. I apologize. All right. So manscaping. There is no documented history on manscaping. I had to go back and do research myself. I had to go look at porn from in the 80s, the 70s, 90s, and it appears by the research that I did was late 1990s. Was kind of chloride. No, like when two shit go together.
Chlorophyll? Chloroform?
Those are plants. No, chlorate. Fuck it. That kind of mirrors my timeline. I was a teenager mowing yards for a living, making some extra cash. There was a ladies' yard that was overgrown, hadn't been done in a long time. I mowed the yard and had to go weed whack the mailbox. And after I got done weed whacking the mailbox, I was like, wow, that mailbox is much bigger without those weeds all around it. And that's how I began my manscaping.
You're mowing and whacking.
Yes, that's correct.
Bob Bigelow, the lawn gigolo.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, that just by trimming that up, it made it look a lot bigger. And I needed all the help I could get in that area. So that's how that began for me.
Oh, you use Nair?
What?
Nair? You use Nair? Yeah.
What? What's Nair?
That'll be for next episode.
Okay. Well, look it up. I'm assuming it's some type of... Oh.
It's a chemical.
No. I have a one blade. You have a one blade from...
Sounds like a rapper.
Yeah. Okay, and Phillips one. Anyway, let's just go on. What do you think in 100 years that we're doing today that our kids will look back on it and say, "Oh, that's weird. I can't believe they did that." I'll give you an example. I believe in 100 years everything will be autonomous and travel. So you either go by a helicopter thingy or a car, and only rich people will be able to drive cars on a private track because you won't be allowed to drive anymore. Similar to a horse today is no longer the preferred mean of transportation.
Well, not preferred here, but there's towns in middle America where you're riding horses still downtown. Probably more so for fun, but...
And you can't be poor. There's no poor person that has a horse now because horses are expensive.
So how long ago do you think the Jetsons, the animated show The Jetsons was created? Probably in the 60s?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that is what, 60 years ago, and it's not even close to true. So you think another 100 years more we'll be flying around like the Jetsons?
I don't know if it's going to be like a jet, but I think there'll be some type of drone. We will definitely see in our lifetime people driving in portable drones or being flown in portable drones. That's coming. The question is, are we on Mars by then in 100 years? Do we have a colony on the moon? Is it going to take 5 minutes to travel from here to New York City? Those are the type of things I wonder. Because
New York City.
Get the rope.
Something I think will be weird in the future is people using their fingers to type a text or any sort of message. I don't use voice activated stuff. I just don't prefer it because I kind of don't know how. But I think in 50 to 100 years, people will be thinking that's taboo to be typing a message.
Well, by then you'll have neural plants and you'll just communicate like whales.
Probably not far off.
And I think I've said this before, but from the time the Wright brothers flew in North Carolina to the time we landed on the moon was like 50 years. There's nobody ever thought for 3,000 years that they could fly. And then 50 years later, they're on the moon.
And then 60 years later, we circled the moon, but we still haven't landed on the moon again.
Yeah, we went around it, did a drive-by. I said, what's up? I'll at your boy.
One blade was flying that one.
What else? What do you think? Anything else you think is going to be that we're not envisioning? I know people will tell us some stuff, but like video games will be real life video games where you actually act them out instead of, I guess that's paintball.
That's also VR sets, right?
Do you feel stuff? Right now you just put on a headset, but in a real boxing match, do you feel getting punched? Like you getting really knocked down?
I don't know if I want to feel like I got punched.
Oh,
there'll be probably VR if it's not around already. Instead of going to Tinder or whatever else, you'll have a robotic gal of the night.
It's like, how do you go to Tinder? Why are you going to Tinder right away?
Am I offending you?
No, I'm just wondering how we got onto Tinder.
I'm saying that you won't have to go date. You don't have to find somebody. You'll have a virtual reality girlfriend that will give you the full experience, if you will.
Gotcha. Fuck that. I'm gonna have a robot girlfriend. And then when she starts going, blah, 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 I go, boop, boop, turn her off. I'm going to say, hey, my belt is here on the stove for a reason. Leave it there. I will get it tomorrow, and not yell at me.
I think trying to turn it off is what got you broken up with the last time.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That was fun, right? You think that was fun? So Nate, your nickname is Nano. Nano is short for Nate,
Which is ironic.
What? Oh, okay. So is Nathan short for Nathaniel, or is that its own name?
No, Nathan is is short for Nathaniel, or can be. It is a variant of that name, as is Nate. But if you look up all three, which I incorporate all three in the name dictionary, it'll all make sense to you.
So good. Let's go through some names here that...
Would you like to know what Nathaniel, Nathan, Nate means?
Yes.
I'm sure all the ladies listening would attest, but it means the gift of God.
And we all know God's fictional, so yeah. Sorry, Abu. Oh, listen. I'm glad we brought that up. We got some Bangladesh followers now. He came through. There is a few, not many. I wonder if it's just him listening and maybe telling his sister, but we got people. Bangladesh is now on the list. So Abu, if you're listening, you came through a little bit. You got some work to do, but I believe in you.
Hold on. Abu, you said his sister. You mean his sisters. He's got to have like 15 siblings, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he's got a big family. He was like I don't know how it works over there, but I think his dad was like the king of the city or something. They were big time over there. I'm not sure. Is it Sultan, maybe? I don't know. Okay.
Did he have a pet talking parrot?
See, this is where people say you're racist because...
What do you mean? I'm an Aladdin fan.
Yeah. But Abu was the monkey. So...
Now you're being racist.
Yeah, maybe that is racist. You're right. Because you were just talking about the...
Here comes another law firm.
What's that guy's name?
Jafar.
Jafar was the bad guy.
Yeah.
I don't.
Aladdin.
Aladdin. Yeah. God damn it! This is not going for me. Good. All right. So Richard is the main name. It goes short. I guess would be Rick, and then from Rick you get Dick. Is that how you get Dick?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I don't know. I'm sure you've had several ways to get it, but
damn, I set myself up for that one. That one's get cut 100%.
No.
There's not leaving that one in there for you. So Timothy is the main name.
Well, let's go back to Richard. So my son's middle name is Richard, but his grandfather is also Richard. But the reason we went with Richard as his middle name is so that way when I'm mad at him, I can say, Maverick, you little dick head, Lind.
Nice. Nice.
That's real, folks.
Have you ever said that?
Not to his face yet. He's a good boy. If he's anything like me, I'll have my shots.
Yeah, I'm sure you get your shots. 9 boosters. Timmy is short for Timothy, and then Tim comes from Timmy. Nothing controversial there, but Jimmy comes from James, not Jimothy, and then Jim.
We'll have to send something into the name dictionary. Let's protest that.
Why is there no Jimothy?
Would you want to be named Jimothy?
I wouldn't want to be named Jimmy. I actually know a guy whose name is Jimmy. It's not James. When you're a kid, everything's at the Y. And then when you get older, you're like my buddy Andy went from Andy to Andrew. He can never go, oh, I'm sorry, it's James now. I'm an adult. Nope, he's got to be called Jimmy his whole life. And then he's like 4'2" or something. So, in French. So it's just like a double, triple whammy on top of the poor guy. I don't think you know him.
No, but I just thought of something before I forget it. Can we talk about how your Morgan Freeman impersonation was actually Morgan Freeman that you cut onto the show? And you sound nothing. You sound nothing like him.
I swear, 1,000% on my children's life that was not Morgan Freeman. I promise you, it was an impersonation of Morgan Freeman. It was not Morgan Freeman. So anybody listening on my daughter's life, that is the truth.
You're going to hell for that.
No, I'm not, because it's 100% true. I'm not lying. It was an impersonation of Morgan Freeman.
But that's not what was aired on the podcast. You literally cut in Morgan Freeman.
Once again, it was an impersonation of Morgan Freeman.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll go into Robert. That's me. We get Robbie, Rob, then you get Bob, Bobby, and T-Bone comes after that.
And then Homo after that.
No, that's not correct. William is Will, and then I guess from Will you get Bill, and that's how you get Bill Clinton. You know, Bill Clinton's last name wasn't Clinton. He was adopted. It was like Blythe or something. Blythe the Third. William Blythe the Third. Yeah, interesting stuff. Your favorite person, I think you idolized him growing up, Cliff Huxtable. You know Cliff Huxtable? Of course you do. I just said you idolized him. His first name was Heathcliff. Heathcliff Huxtable.
Then it goes Clifford?
No, it wasn't Clifford. It was Heathcliff, and it was short for Cliff. Cliff Huxtable.
So Cliff is not short for Clifford.
It could be, but in this regard, it's
certainly
Heathcliff.
is.
So here's a weird one. Ted. What do you think Ted is short for?
Teddy and then Theodore.
Yeah, maybe, but Edward. So Ted Kennedy's real name was Edward Kennedy, but somehow you get Ted out of Edward. I didn't know that.
I think that's a one-off there.
You think so?
Well, look at you. You like to go by Sean, but your name's Robert.
Yeah.
Somebody just made that up.
But that's my middle name. His middle name isn't Ted.
Could be.
I guess Ed, Ted. I'm telling you. Well, I'll look up and see if there's any more famous Eds that went by Ted. I think Ted Danson. I believe that Ted Danson is also Edward.
Well, hold on. Now we got some twisted stuff here. We got Ted Bundy, that we all know as a serial killer, and then Ed Bundy, which scored 4 touchdowns in a high school football game.
Whoa. Which one of those two is your favorite? Don't answer that because I know which way you're going to go. Jack. I don't know if you know this, but Jack is short for either John or Jacob. I mean, maybe now it's a name, but yeah, it's usually John or Jacob. It's John Nicholson or Jack Nicholson and Jacob Black or Jack Black. Both of those are short.
So John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith was actually Jacob Jingleheimer Smith, or John.
Yeah. John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith.
Yeah.
I know a Jason Dingleberry Smith. I wonder if they're related.
I'm sure he's listening. He'll let us know.
Yeah. And then lastly, Antonio, the Italian name Antonio is Americanized with Anthony, as my aunt would say, Anthony. And you get Tony.
And that's really where T-Bone derives from, not Bob.
No, it's not.
Tony is
Tony's a terrible name.
T-Bone is a nickname for Tony, not Bob.
I don't think so. Robert.
Have I been wrong yet today?
That's a good question. Today? No, I mean, you did do that bit about fake names, but other than that, no, I guess you've been pretty accurate. But Tony brings us to our best friend, Tony Fauci. We're about to play a new game called
Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Amendment Taker? Let's play!
Introducing the host with the most, a man who shoots more Riz than a porn star. Ladies and gentlemen, T-Bone.
Thank you, announcer guy. Nathaniel, we're going to play Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Amendment Taker? I'm going to give you a multiple choice question with 4 possible answers. You're going to give me the right one to see if you are smarter than a Fifth Amendment Taker. Are you ready to play?
Let's get it.
All right, this is the $25 question. Where did the coronavirus originate? Is it A, in a Wuhan food market, B, Epstein Island, C, Bangladesh, or D, in a Wuhan lab that was studying the actual coronavirus funded by Tony Fauci?
By the advice of my attorneys, I would like to plead the 5th under the Constitution of the United States.
Unfortunately, that is not an acceptable answer. You must give us an answer, A, B, or C, or D.
Oh, wait, I was pardoned, so I can say anything I want as long as it's truthful and not be held accountable in the court of law. So I will go with D, in a Wuhan lab.
Oh, so close. The answer is C, Bangladesh. We all know that is the true origins of it.
You're incorrect. So it was D as the answer, but it was C, a person from Bangladesh that first bit a bat to get it.
No money given to you on that one, but don't worry, don't fret. This is a $50 question. Which is more likely to be true? A, that Tony Fauci will ever be honest with the American people. B, that Trump is still throwing it to Marlena. We can stop right there. That one's not going to be true. There's no way she's letting that dude touch her anymore.
Millennia, you mean?
Is it millennia? No, millennia is what the kids are. No, what'd I say? No. Anyway,
you made up an end.
I did not. C, Hunter will eventually join the podcast at some point. Or D, Canada will bring home the Stanley Cup this year. Which one is more likely to be true?
Well, I know your answer, so I'll just say that. Doesn't necessarily have to be the right answer. I'll go with C.
Correct answer is B. Trump is still throwing it to Marlena. Like, he's the man. Come on, bro. What's the matter with you? He's knocking that back 3 times a week. Easy. All right, Nate. So you're 0 for 2, but don't worry. There's still more time. This is a $100 question. You fart in an elevator and somebody gets on right afterwards. Do you A, apologize and own up to it? B, ignore it because you're 6 feet apart and a fart can't move more than 5.10 feet like anything else? C, look at them like they're the ones who farted? Or D, rip another one, rush out the door and hit every elevator button on the way out?
Who's in that elevator with me? Is it you?
No, somebody you don't know.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go with D anyway. It's hilarious.
Yeah, that is great. No, but the correct answer is B. B, farts cannot travel more than 6 feet, just like the coronavirus. That is a proven fact by one Tony Fauci. Okay, so listen, you're 0 for 3, but this is where the real bucks come. So this is a $200 question. We are big podcasters now. We're pretty famous. People getting recognizing us. You get pulled over by a police officer and they ask you for your ID. Do you say A, do you know who the fuck I am? B, under the advice of counsel, I invoke my Fifth Amendment right not to provide you with my identification. C, yeah, I was just talking to the president. Or D, I'm Joe Lombardo.
I don't think Joe Lombardo did it that way. I mean, he just said, come on, man, as anybody else would do, getting pulled over for what? Not stopping on a right-hand turn?
He 100% said, I'm Joe Lombardo. And the cop said, I know who you are, sir. And then didn't give him a ticket. He just wanted to let him know, I got you. Yeah.
I guess I didn't see that part.
So what do you got here? A, B, or C?
I'm going Joe Lombardo.
Oh. So close. Correct answer was E. None of the above. We are big time ballers now. We have somebody else drive for us. I have a personal driver named Turtle that drives me around the city. Okay.
He drives pretty slow, though.
That was your... Jeez, with the jokes. It's like, you're 0 for 2. You won no money. But now you have a bonus question. That was a $375 that you had the opportunity to win. You won 0. But I'm going to give you the opportunity to win all $375 back here in this bonus question. In the Tony Fauci diaries that he thought was a good idea to leave on a public server and then claim people read it, there was a part where he had discussed having Bono come to the house and having his young daughters answer the door so he could look like a big shot. I think that's actually pretty cool. I don't know why people are giving him a hard time. If I could do that for my kids, I definitely would. However, I think I would pick a better band than U2, which is without question the most overrated band of all time. So Nate, here's your bonus question. Besides With or Without You or The Streets Have No Name, can you name 3 additional U2 hits?
I can't name you one additional U2 hit. One, I'm not a music guy, too. I never listened to them.
Yeah, they suck. We would have taken 1. I still haven't found what I'm looking for, Beautiful Day or Bloody Sunday. I think they are the most overrated band of all time. I kind of realized that one day when I was hanging out with you and Bobby, and I realized that I didn't like U2, and the band also sucks.
Good one.
Yeah, that was actually, I know. I know.
Speaking of people that don't like you, what did you do to our super fan Vic? Wants to get me a Trump hat and not, wait a second, it's reverse. What did I do to Vic?
Yeah, I was going to say, he's going to get me a Trump hat. He invited me to come meet with Trump on Wednesday. I'm just not going to be in town, or I would go hang out with him.
I don't feel like I've done anything to poke him or pee in his Cheerios or anything. I like to have fun, but
yeah.
I'm sorry, Vic. Please invite me to your party.
Okay. And that's a mea culpa. I really like that. That's Vic's a good guy. I want him on the show. He can't come, but even if he came for a segment. Speaking of segments, we got a new segment. We're going to try to do this every week. It's called Shady Like a Tree. We could talk about politicians and Trump on this segment all we want, but figure we could go and expose some things that maybe corporations or companies or things people do that are shady. So I'm going to start off this week with Dixie. So Dixie makes paper plates. And I think that they purposely make paper plates stick together so that you use more than one paper plate at a time. I promise you, if you were to go to get a paper plate right now and grab one, it's 2. And if your kids are grabbing them, it's 3 or 4. So if you're going to a barbecue and you buy 500 plates and then you wonder, hey, what happened to all the plates? There's no way we use 500 plates. It's because Dixie is shady like a tree.
Well, they also make cups that stick together, and it's probably more likely that you're going to use more than one cup because there's an airlock in between. You can't pull them apart. I've done that several times.
Especially if you've had a couple cocktails. Dixie's makes this shady like a tree. I'm going to post this at them if they come back, but that's maybe the goal of this every week, is just to find some shady shit that people are doing. Speaking of shady shit, let's talk about Canada.
Canada sucks 'cause it's cold.
Not a more shady country than that place, and not because of the amount of trees that they have.
The most shoreline of any country in the world. Did you know that?
I did know that.
You're Minnesota, man. Which state has the most lakes?
Minnesota.
Incorrect. It's Alaska. Alaska has like 1 million lakes. You know what number 2 is?
Minnesota.
Incorrect. Wisconsin. Fun fact of the day.
This is all baloney.
It's not. Why do you keep questioning my integrity? What do you work for?
Wisconsin does not
Harrison
have
Wells
more.
and Carter?
Wisconsin does not have more lakes than Minnesota. Because if they did, on their license plate, it would say more lakes in Minnesota.
Just giving you the facts, Nathaniel. Whether you want to believe them or not, you live in your echo chamber of lies, but that's okay.
So Minnesota's a land of 10,000 lakes, the most lakes. Now, Florida once made a claim that they had 30,000 lakes, but they're counting any little mud puddle with an alligator in it. So it doesn't really define a lake.
All right.
I'm shocked you didn't go with Florida.
It's because it's not true. It's Wisconsin. You just want to be a hater. So the CFL is underway. We're in week 7. The Canadians like to brag that they invented the game of football. And technically, that is true. In 1861, at the University of Toronto, football was first played. A few years later, Harvard versus McGill was the first combination game of two colleges. It was played in Canada. Like everything else in Canada, we took it over and made it 1,000 times better. Their Canadian Football League is garbage, so much so that they restrict the amount of American players that can play on any team, because if they didn't do that, it would just be all American players. What is the most important position in football, Nathaniel?
Whatever position I decide to play that day.
And you're a quarterback, I'm assuming.
Sure. For the sake of argument.
Yes. So quarterback is the most important position in all of football. That's not an argument. That's just a fact. The last Canadian to win the Grey Cup that was a Canadian-born QB was Russ Jackson in 1969. So Americans have dominated the Canadian Football League. Now, Americans also play all the skill positions. So, like I said, you can only have 21 Americans on your team. So the Canadians are like the kickers and the punters, and your skill positions and quarterbacks are all Americans. Once again, proving America's greatness.
Well, another fun fact is that there was once an American team that played in the CFL and then won the Grey Cup and then got kicked out.
Which team was that?
Baltimore. I forget
Baltimore
the mascot. It's Baltimore something.
Maybe that was USFL. Is that like after the Colts left? Because that's where the Colts were first, right? Baltimore?
This was not long ago. I want to say like the 90s.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to look that up. We'll bring that up on the next show. Speaking of superfan Vic, he wanted us to look into the Trump accounts and talk a little bit about the Trump accounts. So I did. They are pretty cool accounts. If you are born with between 2025 and 2028, the government will give you a $3,000. It's basically just an IRA. You can't withdraw any of the money out of it at all until the child becomes 18. And if you need the money, it becomes a penalty, 10%, like you would do with any traditional IRA. I think it's a great idea for kids to get a free $1,000 and then invest in American companies because it's tied to an index fund like the S&P 500. I just don't know if I would invest in it for the kids now. Our kids are probably too old to get the $1,000 or they are too old to get the $1,000. So I don't know if it's something that's viable for those kids. It's best just to take that money and put it in S&P 500 and then you can withdraw it when they're older for maybe a down payment on the house without paying any penalties. So it is a pretty cool thing. If you have a newborn, I would look into getting the $3,000 and then adding to it. Then it just becomes a traditional IRA. If you have kids now, Social Security might not be there. So it's not a bad idea.
Word.
We talked a little bit about Hood. I told you that I own a lot of Hood. Hood reported on Wednesday, and that's Robinhood. And they had a fantastic quarter, what you would call a double beat. It was everything that I'd hoped for and more, and the stock went down. So let's just say I'll be a bag holder on Hood for quite some time. My average cost is pretty high. I've traded it all the way up to 150 in and out of it, made a lot of money on it, bought a little bit too much. And then when it started to fall, I bought some more. So I am a big owner of Hood and it's not looking good for me. But SpaceX bounced back a little bit. It went down to 109 and dropped to 115 and the microchips have fallen apart. So market's weird. Trump announced that he's going to stop bombing people. So maybe it bounces up, but I don't want to be in it until he's just making it too volatile right now. So I'm going to stay on the sidelines for a little while.
Smart choice.
And lastly, the superfan that you didn't want to work for had mentioned dating at Costco. I haven't been on a date for I don't know how long. The last date I had where I actually asked somebody out on a date, we went to a place called Nora's for dinner. We showed up. I didn't make a reservation. They were fully committed and she got mad at me because I guess I should have known better since I do work in the industry. So that was the last date that I've had. But there is a new trend, I guess, where people go to dates on Costco and walk around, do free samples. I don't know how dating goes anymore, but that
if I was homeless and wanted to go on a date, that sounds perfect. I hate shopping to begin with. I don't like being around big crowds of people, especially walking around with them. Those aisles are pretty small. It sounds like a nightmare.
Costco is super packed. It could be a very inexpensive date or it could be super expensive. Like it could be I go around, get some samples, and then we go get a $1.50 hot dog. Or it could be we walk around and she starts putting stuff in the cart. And next thing you know, you don't leave Costco without spending $200. So I don't know if that's a place I want to go to. And maybe if I can get this reverse Viagra pill, I don't need to go at all. Just
what angle is the guy I didn't want to work for coming from here? I mean, he doesn't go on dates.
No, that's probably why. He's living vicarious through the coolness of us. I guess us, I mean me.
All right. Well, I think you got to try it once just so you can bring back the info to the show and we can talk about your date at Costco. To find somebody that's going to accept a date's going to be the tough part.
That's going to be hard.
We got to work on that. I'd keep that hat on for sure.
There's some shots being taken today. You've been just feisty when taking on lawyers to taking shots at me. It's been an aggressive day for old Nathaniel over here.
You know, when you wake up this early, you got to be ready to go.
I was up earlier. I played pickleball.
I
came
believe
straight from pickleball. It was 6:30 in the morning. It took me a half hour to cool down, and it was 7:30. And by the time we got on the podcast, I was still hot. I hate this heat, man. I hope 1 year from now, this podcast has been bought, and you and me are sitting on our second home at Lake Tahoe, sitting on the porch doing the podcast out of this heat next summer. That's the goal. As long as these lawyers don't sue us for everything we have, which is nothing. So come get it, punks. I think we're on track.
They're going to have to wait for Robinhood to sell at a profit before they'll get anything.
Oh, you know what I wanted to tell you? And I didn't want to bring this up because it was like, oh, we got everything right. You called it the dreaded Pirate Roberts.
The dread Pirate Roberts.
The dread Pirate Robert. It was close enough, so I didn't want to put it in. I was flying high on not getting anything wrong. So, but if anybody got anything wrong, it was you.
Hey, if AI didn't flag it, it must be right.
All right. What else? I mean, this is a fun show. We didn't go too deep in anything. I think we made fun of some people. Nice time. What do you got? Anything for us? Anything else?
I think that's it before my phone overheats.
Yes, we do use high class equipment for this podcast, iPhones.
As I'm sure most do. All right, Bob. Good show.
Nathaniel, thank you so much as always. Talk to you later.
We'll see you in court.
No, you won't. That was you that said all that, not me.
Bob and Nate, true American heroes. Bob and Nate, true American heroes. Bob and Nate.